I will go to the NPP's candidate, Nana Akufo-Addo, and ask the same question of you. What would you do to make this commission more effective in its work?
Thank you very much, Kojo. First of all, the Constitution in its wisdom has provided that every new government has 2 years to bring a plan to Parliament for approval and therefore for implementation. So that making of a plan has already been taken care of. We are not going to wait 2 years, as the NDC did, to bring such a plan to Parliament, because by the time, God willing, we win the election, the manifesto that we have put into place will be translated immediately into the plan. And that plan is going to do the following. First of all, we are not going to abandon any sensible initiatives that are already on the way. We will continue them. Secondly, we intend to use the oil revenues to promote a vigorous expansion of our education and of our healthcare system. We're not going to get involved in reckless borrowing. Debt is going to be contracted only for investments that can create jobs and add value to our national life. We are not going to go produce a plan at the end of which the record, that is the record of the NDC, growing unemployment, rising cost of living, falling standards in education, a collapsing health care, corruption, and more corruption. This is not going to be the way forward for Ghana under the NPP. We're going to pay great attention to the issue of structural transformation of our economy and making sure that therefore jobs, well-paying jobs, are made available to the youth, especially of our country. In so saying and doing, if the planning function is going to have real teeth, it needs the proper high-level political leadership. So I've already made the decision in my mind that if, God willing, I win in December, my vice president, an accomplished economist, one of the foremost economists and bankers in our country, Mahamadou Bawumia, who will then have become vice president, will head the National Development Planning Commission to give it that political leadership that is required if indeed the commission's activities are going to bear fruit for our nation. So, holistically, that's the position. A plan that is going to deal with the critical issues facing our country in education, in healthcare, in the creation of jobs, and in the transformation of our national economy, and an institution that is given the highest possible political leadership in our time.
A quick follow-up question to be answered within 1 minute. Is it to be our understanding that once the vice president chairs the NDPC, automatically successive governments will buy into whatever the NDPC has been doing?
You know, one of the difficulties about democratic politics is that it's difficult for you to bind successive governments because they will have their own mandate. That's why the Constitution in its wisdom has said that every time a government comes into office, it produces a plan for its term in office. So that's what you can do. And hopefully, if you are able to establish good practices, you're able to show people that the methods that you have used and the way you are going about things is going to produce results, then there's every good sense for successive governments following your initiative. And I would hope that indeed, if the Vice President has the National Development Planning Commission, and he's seen to have been successful in the purposes of the plan, it will lay a precedent for the future which others would want to emulate. Nothing succeeds like success, and that's the best way we can go ahead with it.